Everybody ready? Good evening. Welcome. This is our first year of the new year, 2025, and I'll open the meeting. Our first item of business is taking nominations for council president for calendar year 2025.
I nominate Billy Boone.
I second it.
Okay.
What?
Are there any other nominations? Need for discussion, or is everybody good to do the roll call?
Roll call.
Okay. Dana Cummings,
Yes.
Dave Moran,
Yes.
Councilor Seeley,
Yes.
Councilor Stevens.
Yes.
Okay. I will turn the meeting over to Council President Boone.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Thank you, fellow councilors, for your support. I will gladly do this for another year anyway. Now comes the fun part. We need item 3, nomination of a vice chair.
I nominate Rhonda Stevens.
I'll second it. Is Rhonda willing to be vice chair?
Sure.
Okay. Any further discussion on the nomination? I would only say thank you for your willingness.
We'll see if you still thank me at the end of the year.
I will. I will, certainly. But again, thank you. Hearing no other comments, roll call, please.
Dana Cummings,
Yes.
Moran,
Yes.
Seeley,
Yes.
and Boone.
Yes.
Thank you.
We're on item 4, adjustments to the agenda, if there's any.
I have one adjustment. We have Jen Peters here to talk about the CDBG Phase 2 Road School Planning Study Grant. I think that'll be fairly lightweight. We'd like maybe to get her back out on the road if we can. So if we could move her, she's currently at 6P, and we can move her perhaps to 5B, right at the beginning of the business.
Do we have to motion for that? I motion to move to the 5B,
6P to 5B.
6P to 5B.
So I'll second that. Moved and seconded. Any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Dana Cummings,
Yes.
Moran,
Yes.
Seeley,
Yes.
Stevens,
Yes.
and Boone.
Yes. Any further adjustments? Hearing none. We're on to item 5, public hearings. Renewal of a liquor license application for Native American Investments, LLC, doing business at the Old Sow Grill, 35 Water Street. Anybody from the public like to speak for or against? I would like to close that public hearing. No comments. Item 5A is action on public hearings and renewal of the liquor license application for Native American Investments, LLC, doing business as Old Sow
I'll make that
Grill,
motion.
35 Water Street.
Oh, sorry. I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Dana Cummings,
Yes.
Moran,
Yes.
Seeley,
Yes.
Stevens,
Yes.
and Boone.
Yes. We are on 5B.
We have
Wait a minute, yeah.
a speaker or
No,
phone.
no, it's over here. I'm trying to fix it right now, sorry.
That's okay.
Apologies.
We're on item 5B, which is actually 6P, the grant update, I believe.
just sort of capture specific.
Hello, I'm Jennifer Peters with Sunrise County Economic Council. I was here in November and spoke with the council about applying for a special projects community development block grant for the Friends of the Boat School. It's a planning grant to perform a feasibility study to see what it would take to actually turn that facility into something that could be of use. Their application, the letter of intent was accepted, their application was approved. The project has been approved for $29,600, I believe it is, for a feasibility study. So the next step is for the council to agree to accept the funds on behalf of the boat school. And then there's a phase 2 packet that needs to go into the state. There are a bunch of different documents that need to be signed by the council as the governing body. I don't want to stand here and read things to you. If you'd like, I can do a real quick run through just so you have an idea of what they are. If you would prefer to just read them as you sign them later on, Alice said that she would take care of that after the...
Will this cost the city additional money?
No, the only thing the city is going to do is have money come into its bank account, and the Friends of the Boat, once things are set up, the money has to pass through the city's general account. So the Friends of the Boat School will receive invoices from the person who is the contractor who is doing the feasibility study. They'll submit the invoices to the city will submit a drawdown request to the state, the money comes into the account, the city will write a check, that's it. So it's, whatever, maybe 20 minutes a month, half an hour of staff time, that's really about it. And if there's any kind of issue with the city actually doing that, we can take care of the drawdown piece of it, so the only thing the city would actually have to do is cut a check. So.
It's fairly typical grant administration stuff.
Yeah, and we'll have all the files together, so, usually there could be a desk audit done by the Department of Economic and Community Development. The files will be all together, ready to go, so all we need to do is just open up an electronic file and flip through.
What is the feel of the council? We okay with reviewing it later? Do we want her to kind of give us a rundown of it, or?
That's entirely up to you. I don't want to take your time now if you'd rather wait and do it later. But if you want to just a quick run through, I can do that too.
Let's quickly summarize what the materials are.
Okay. So they're, I was going to say, I'm going to leave the whole packet, so that it'll be here anyway. The things that the council needs to sign. Standards of conduct, basically just saying that the city operates in a way that you prohibit conflicts of interest, you follow typical procurement procedures, you'll adhere to contract requirements, contractual compliance, financial management is in place for the city. It's not going to actually, there's no cost allowance, there's not going to be a cost to the city for this, there's no match. This is just a straight up grant. Fair housing resolution just says the city of Eastport will not discriminate in housing in regard to sex, race, color, religion, sex, handicap, familial status, or national origin, etc.
Just very standard grant stuff.
Grant stuff, and as you're probably hearing right now, not a lot of it is actually directly relevant to a planning grant.
Exactly.
Because we're not breaking ground, we're not building anything. It's, however, all required paperwork. So there's an extensive thing about we did a facilities assessment for.
That's the self-evaluation and transition.
So that's
So are you looking for approval for both phase 1 and 2 tonight?
No, the phase 1 has already been done.
Okay, so you just need phase 2.
The council already signed the resolution that they would apply for the grant funds.
Right.
So that's been done. This is phase 2, so it's just the form, it's the form stuff that they require for the...
And I believe what we said is if the motion would be to accept the grant funds for the funds for this grant in the amount of $29,600, and in so doing that implies we'll be completing phase 2.
It's on behalf of the Friends of the Boat School.
On behalf of
Because
yes.
any CDBG funds have to go through a municipality.
Okay.
So even though the Friends Group is a nonprofit, they can't apply on their own. It has to go through the city. So the self-evaluation transition plan basically just says we're not going to continue out of houses, we're not going to discriminate in employment, there's all kinds of different, here it lists all of the city facilities, any buildings or properties owned by the city, talks about whether or not they're ADA compliant, if they're not, if there aren't things, so if there aren't curb cuts, it says so, if there aren't water fountains, it says so. So a lot of it really, like Brian said, has nothing to do with the planning grant, but it's all part of their formality. Residential anti-displacement relocation assistance plan. You're not doing any housing, you're not keeping people off their property, so it really doesn't mean anything. But basically it says the city's not going to go and just take a bunch of property and do what they want. The employment profile you don't have to do anything with because it's only if any employees are being paid by these funds, but they're not, so it's just a blank sheet. Equal employment opportunity policy statement. Just the city already says we don't, we're an equal opportunity employer. So you already have that in place, but we don't have a sheet saying here's when it was passed. So that's just another formality. And then budget. Program income plan, there's no program income, it's zero. So that really is pretty much it.
So do we need specific wording on the motion, or can we just say we move to it? Are we the financial?
So I think the motion would be to move to accept the CDBG grant funds on behalf of the Friends of the Boat School in the amount of $29,600.
Actually, I just had the budget here. I think it was.
Oh, yeah, that was what you said.
It is what I said, so I'm sorry about that. 29,650.
50.
I'll make that motion.
I second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Dan Cummings,
Yes.
Moran,
Yes.
Seely,
Yes.
Stevens,
Yes.
and Boone.
Yes, thank you.
Safe travels.
Thanks, I appreciate, now that you have that, I appreciate you moving me up so I can drive back before the snow gets much worse.
Thank you so much. Yeah, why don't we not keep going? Thank you.
Moving on to item 6, new business. 6A is city council appointments for signing of warrants year 2025. In the past, I think it's just been all councilors will be signing, and the treasurer needs at least 3.
Yes.
And believe me, the treasurer, if she doesn't get 3, she'll come after you. Not a problem.
Joe, hunt it down.
So can I have a motion that all city councilors can sign the warrants?
I'll make that motion, that all city councils be available to sign.
I'll second it.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Dan Cummings,
Yes.
Moran,
Yes.
Seely,
Yes.
Stevens,
Yes.
and Boone.
Yes. Item 6B, establish depository banks for the city funds, the First and the Bangor Savings Bank for year 2025.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion on the motion?
We already have our funds in these banks, we're just continuing.
Yes, it's
Okay.
Any further discussions? Hearing none, roll calls, please.
Dan Cummings,
Yes.
Moran,
Yes.
Seely,
Yes.
Stevens,
Yes.
and Boone.
Yes. Item 6C, staff appointments for the calendar year 2025. It should be in your packet. Pretty straightforward.
So are we motioning to accept these as a block?
Yes.
I make a motion to accept the staff appointments as presented.
I'll second that.
Been moved and seconded. Any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Dan Cummings,
Yes.
Moran,
Yes.
Seely,
Yes.
Stevens,
Yes.
and Boone.
Yes. 6D, appointment of a part-time code enforcement officer.
And I'm bringing forward Tabitha Stevens. She's currently the cemetery supervisor. After our interview process, she was the candidate I selected.
Tabitha Young.
I'm sorry, I'm looking at Stevens. Yeah, she'll be working part-time, so she is working in the cemetery. She will need to allocate hours that she has been using in the cemetery during the summer to work as CEO, and then she'll have also part-time hours throughout the year now to cover the CEO job. It's a bit of an experiment to figure out how this will work out. She will be taking the CEO job at the standard 6-month probationary period, so we'll have some time to see how it shakes out.
I'll make a motion to approve Tabitha Young for that position.
I'll second it.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Dana Cummings,
Yes.
Moran,
Yes.
Seely,
Yes.
Stevens,
Yes.
and Boone.
Yes. 6E, appointment of city manager as E911 address officer.
We currently don't have such an officer. We also have, because of some construction and a request we have right now, some issues with needing to assign some addresses or not assign addresses, depending on how E911 looks at it. And we need someone in that officer position. In the long run, I think it might be a good idea for someone else on staff to have this.
I was going to
position.
say,
I probably
you've got
have
a
enough
lot of
appointments,
hats.
But we have some pressing issues that need to be addressed fairly quickly. So I would appoint me right now, and then I'll hand it off when things
Looking
quiet down.
to replace it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do I have a motion?
I make the motion to appoint city manager for the E911 address officer.
I'll second it.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Dana Cummings,
Yes.
Moran,
Yes.
Seely,
Yes.
Stevens,
Yes.
and Boone.
Yes. 6F, appointment of the
Congratulations, Brian.
Thank you.
6F, appointment of city auditor.
This is Ron Smith. He's currently our auditor for working on fiscal year '23 and hopefully moving on to fiscal year '24 a couple months later. And should we get lucky enough and we close out this fiscal year and they're still available, we'll move on to fiscal year '25.
I'll make that motion to have Ron Smith as the city auditor.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Dana Cummings,
Yes.
Moran,
Yes.
Seely,
Yes.
Stevens,
Yes.
and Boone.
Yes. 6G, appointment of legal counsel / city solicitor.
So that's Dennis Mahar, who's with us right now. Okay,
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Go.
Who
I'll second
seconded
it.
it?
Pauline made the motion, David seconded.
Okay, thank you so much.
Any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Dana Cummings,
Yes.
Moran,
Yes.
Seely,
Yes.
Stevens,
Yes.
and Boone.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
How many years, Dennis?
When did Francis Brown die?
Hold on. That long. Okay.
I had inherited it from him.
Okay. Well, thank you for your many years. 6H, approve city treasurer Campbell Deshane to negotiate and execute quick claim deeds.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Dana Cummings,
Yes.
Moran,
Yes.
Seely,
Yes.
Stevens,
Yes.
and Boone.
Yes. 6I, council liaison appointments for calendar year 2025. I don't know whether we should just put our names in hats and we just draw out one, or...
Is a counselor appointed to each and every one of these?
Pretty much.
Okay.
Some are
Are already assigned.
yeah, some meet very rarely, some, I don't have any problem continuing with the 4 that I'm currently on, which is the Airport Advisory Board, the Cemetery Committee, the Port Authority Board, the Senior Citizen / Age Friendly Board. And it looks like the only Board of Appeals I'm on that as well. I never made a meeting last year, I don't know what happened there.
I mean, I don't know if it's so much a correction. I believe the council can appoint anyone they want to serve on the ambulance board. I am currently serving in that role, however.
Yeah, in years past, there's been past councils that have
Yeah.
had some knowledge. They were on
Right.
Gilbert and
Right.
Earl.
I'm willing to continue, since it didn't have city manager there, I just want I am currently serving.
I didn't want to make the presumption. Not that you want to be, I'm just, you know.
I'm not trying to shed any light on, or any lightness on any committee, but I really think that the budget committee is a very important committee. I think the school board is a very important committee. I think, these are the ones that are really, the budget committee is coming right up. The school board's yearly, and the school board's budget is quite healthy. It's our tax dollars at work. I don't know how the housing one went. Pauline, you
We
on
still
that?
haven't had enough people to even
In a meeting?
convene, yeah.
Okay.
Like, we'll have a meeting, and so-and-so's not there. Next month, we have another meeting, so other people aren't there. So this next meeting, on the 27th, I think is the date, we're going to try Zoom, see if we can get more participation. If we don't, I'm going to recommend that we dissolve, and, well, there's nothing to dissolve really, but maybe, I don't know, what do you recommend, Ellen?
Well, you have created the committee, okay? I would say wait and see what happens and go from there.
Okay.
Are you still remaining on as a liaison?
Yes, I'm still going to stay on. And I would like to do the school and the budget committee if there's no objections.
I'd like to do the harbor committee and the planning board. You didn't have planning boards, yeah?
I would remind also, just even though you're taking positions as liaisons, you still have the option to attend.
Have the option to what?
I mean, you still have the option to attend the meeting.
To attend the meeting,
Oh,
just
yes.
as you're not a liaison.
Exactly.
I was on the Eastport Disability Committee, but they meet at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and I don't get out of work till 4:30, so I don't know, can that just be you still, or?
I've been listed as that. I would prefer to stay out of the, it's like, for example, of course, I will be at budget committee, but not functioning as liaison. I'll be functioning in my own position.
Right.
And I've attended some disability meetings, and I'm happy to do it in my position. I don't think I should be the primary channel. I think there should be a counselor.
How often is the disability committee meeting?
I think they meet once a month.
Isn't it like the third or the fourth Thursday or something like that?
Yes, but I'd have to get the specific. It's something in the second half of the month, and but I don't remember off the top of my head.
Can make it,
So there's a lot of blanks on this paper.
I don't know, is the disability committee willing to adjust hours to? 'cause
Well, they
I
had
know-
a parent that it was convenient for her. So I think that was the,
At the last meeting I attended, Bertie, the chair, expressed surprise. She apparently did not know or had forgotten that you were not available. But I don't know if they discussed being able to change the time to accommodate you or anyone else. Be a reasonable request to make, I would imagine.
Well, I understand that AJ and Rhonda and myself and Colleen are working, and Dave is still working a little bit from home, but it's hard to meet any time during the day because we are all working, and night times are better, but...
Colleen, if the time was changed, are you willing to serve as liaison?
it would depend on time and days.
If they found a time you could attend,
Yes, yeah.
I'm willing to go to them with that.
Okay.
Do you want Parks and Rec? No? I can do Parks and Rec.
I'm not gonna touch that one.
No?
Does this
Years
have
of
to all be
experience.
filled in, Ella?
I know.
Pardon?
Does it have
That's
to?
why he doesn't want to touch it.
Do we have to fill it in all tonight? Can people think about it, or?
I guess what would really help too is knowing
What each
what
one
days
does.
they meet and what time. Because, I mean.
Can
I
we
work
table
back
it till
up
next
We
month?
can, the ones that you're unsure, we can bring it back next month if you want an opportunity to find out what, when they meet.
That would be
what
helpful.
time. Okay.
Of course, some of these committees have not met in some time. Or
Right.
that I will assume, for example, on the Deer Committee, I'll confess I didn't know we had one. So I think if we can cover, we talked about budget, cemetery. I don't believe we're in a charter review. I don't know if your disability is active. I don't believe economic development is active, or at least I haven't seen anything. Energy is active. I'm unclear if fiber is still active. I think their scope may have closed out because their grant is out, but I can check with them. Harbor, historic.
Recycling committee's coming up. They're coming up with recycling committee.
Yes.
They're trying to get that grant, get that
Yes, it would
going,
be good to
so.
have, recycling's important because we're still working through that grant and we're hoping to open up that facility this year.
I don't know, I don't know whether Laura or Sam was the chair of that, one of the co-chairs.
I don't,
I think they were co-chairs.
The co-chairs,
Yeah,
yes.
They're both coaches, yeah.
but I think they're still in a stage of trying to get the building up to code or trying to get
At this point, I
grant money.
believe
a baler or
I believe
something.
all the work's been done. I think now it's talking about how we'll actually, like we have the baler in there, now we're talking about how they're going to manage, what can volunteers do, where they're going to get the volunteers from, that sort of thing. That's the last I heard from them. The building is complete. We may need to fix the garage door.
Heat. I think, I don't know.
Can I just affirm, Colleen, you said you were going to take the school board, correct?
Yes, please.
Okay, thank you.
Can I ask Cami a question, Billy?
Sure.
Cami, is the microloan committee, are they active at all?
I really don't know. I don't know anything about that committee.
I do. They're kind of as an application comes in,
Yeah.
or if there's a collection problem or something like that. That committee also has a member from Perry, a member from Pembroke, and a member from Dennisville.
Pleasant Point.
I signed the checks for those. I think I signed the checks for those on the microloan.
Do you?
Yeah,
Yes, you was on.
yeah.
I'd like to be on that committee too.
The last time there was a meeting was a long time ago. We haven't had an application, I don't think.
I'd like to be
Can
on
we
the
get an
committee, too.
update from one?
A long time ago.
Can we get an update on
Well-
the finances though, Cami?
It was in Perry, I remember it was in Perry.
I've never been to a meeting. I know I signed the checks for them. I was co-signing with Tracy.
And you both still are on that account at the time, you and Tracy.
Yeah.
It was in Perry, and Mylan was still alive, so it's been a while. A couple of years anyway.
I love how you mark time by
Well,
people's
by people's
deaths.
deaths, yeah. I'm apparently at that age or something.
Just an aside, on the Shellfish Committee, they meet as they need to, not so much on a regular monthly basis, but you will hear from Lauren if there is something coming up. We will be looking at the review from last year's for the new allotment for the shellfish licenses. So I believe they met just recently, just before the holidays or over the holidays. So he may have something. But I haven't heard from this yet. So.
I'll take that one if no one wants it.
Which one?
Shellfish.
You could pick more than one, AJ. One doesn't cut it.
Depending on when they meet, I'll take Parks and Recreation and Recycling at least. Depending on when they meet. Summer, I can be there anytime. But the rest of the year is-
And then-
We meet the second Tuesdays at 6 o'clock. The second Tuesday of the month at 6 o'clock.
Parks and
I mean
Rec.
Wednesday, because we had to meet last night because of tonight's meeting, but it's usually Wednesday nights
Okay.
at 6.
The second Wednesday?
That's Tuesday.
That's always a council meeting.
Yeah, yeah,
Budget,
yeah.
you gonna do it?
You want it?
No, you should do it.
Okay. I'll do it.
Thank you, Ron.
You're welcome.
They wanna know.
Did you hear me when I said budget committee, Ellen?
Yeah, I did.
Yes, I have it down.
Yeah.
And I just want to kind of reiterate what Ella said, is if you're not the liaison, you still can attend these meetings,
Yeah.
because the budget one is very interesting and very eye-opening.
And they're all public meetings.
Right. And as a liaison, you don't have a vote anyway, you're just
That's
you're
correct.
there for
Yes.
informational purposes only. So I guess the other ones we can kind of hold off until we need somebody.
What does the historic review board do?
Look at the history.
Anything
Oh dear, that reaction.
That might,
Any activity, construction, modification in the historic district downtown has to be subjected to review by the historic review committee. That's a brief way of putting it.
that might be an important meeting, the committee to get on, because they're trying to change some street to a historic street.
The
That,
whole street?
yeah, well, part of the street, and, you know, you might have to change, you know, your house if you do any work to it, or, you know, it could
It's
end
not
up that
Stevens
way.
Avenue, right?
Well, that's where I'd like to see, instead of Key Street. But that's a committee worth watching, it really is.
When do they meet?
That's as needed, I believe.
I think it
Yeah.
is.
Probably Hugh French.
Ed, I think.
Oh, it's, yeah.
Ed is the chair.
I'll go on that one. If no one else wants it.
Historic review board, you have to go on that one.
AJ, you want to take a deer committee? There's got a plenty of deer down there, wouldn't you?
I'll take your committee.
Okay.
Deer and shellfish, you're all for the eating.
Someone to eat good.
Cook out at AJ's house.
Good enough deer down on
I think if everybody's okay, I would just soon leave the city manager on the ambulance.
Agreed.
I know he's already been in there and he's got some information, and rather than, I've never been on it. I'm always thankful that it's there, but I've never been on that committee. And Brian devoted to sit on it.
Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blanks and a couple. Some of them we don't even know if still existing.
Yeah, and I would leave those. I think the energy committee, that's kind of wrapped up, and Jean was on that, and that was the,
So we can, I believe Jean is, that one I think is still going. Jean was chair for that, because I believe they're pursuing another grant.
and I think she wanted to continue on that.
And we appointed her last month,
That's
effective
right.
January
So
1st.
so she's on that.
I'll take the energy if nobody wants it.
Oh, Jean's already been appointed last month,
Oh,
former council,
Okay.
because she's already been on
oh,
it. Yeah.
perfect.
And as Brian said, they're going after another grant. The fiber committee, I think, switched over to something else
Sorry?
I'm sorry, Jean is the chair now.
Yes.
of the energy
the
committee.
energy
Okay, so you actually do need, so I
So
guess
she
you
can
need
be
a
the
liaison.
liaison.
Okay.
There you go.
You're
I'll
on.
take that one.
So that was AJ?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. I can't consider me, I apologize.
I think the fiber committee was, the last I knew was Ken Burke.
I believe that's correct.
And I think after they got Fidium in here, they've kind of done their job.
I think we can keep that open. I'll check in with them. And if they have activity, I'll come back to you and request a liaison at that time.
Marion transfer, you're still doing that, Brian?
Yes.
Okay.
So that just leaves the economic development committee, which, who's on that?
You. That's what I got written down.
Okay.
I thought you took that. I wouldn't have wrote that down. Disability committee is still vacant until we find out times, I guess. Charter review committee is vacant. I don't even know whether they're,
I don't think they meet, do they?
And we're not, there's nothing active
There's
right now.
nothing active.
no.
I mean, one of us can go to that if they
Yeah,
have, you know, I'll go or someone can go if they have a meeting.
I think we're there, aren't we?
So there, who was taking recycling? Was there anybody?
Rhonda took the second.
I was just double checking now. Let's go through.
Mine, I don't know how
All the other blanks David accepted.
to, yeah, I got them.
So do I have a motion to accept those council liaison appointments for the calendar year 2025?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Been moved and seconded. Any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, roll call please.
Dana Cummings,
Yes.
Moran,
Yes.
Seely,
Yes.
Stevens,
Yes.
and Boone.
Yes.
Thank you.
6J, establish a 0% discount rate for prepayment of for fiscal year 2026 taxes.
Was that up for question at one point? Or
Oh,
we just
many
established
times
it?
they try to, if you prepay, they'd like to get a discount. I think the town of Perry offers it. But we've looked at it numerous times and it's really,
That's sort of a different animal. What Pembroke and Perry has is a discount if you pay within 30 days or 60 days of commitment. This is actually for prepayment before they're even committed. And you do that on an annual basis. You tell people you ain't giving them a discount if they pay. That's a state statute, I think, that you adopt that every year.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
been moved and seconded. Any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, roll call please.
Dana Cummings,
Yes.
Moran,
Yes.
Seely,
Yes.
Stevens,
Yes.
and Boone.
Yes. 6K, approval of sewer commitment, third quarter fiscal year 2025, the January 12th, 2025 billing. And I thought I had it right here. There's an amount that needs to be in there in that motion, I believe. The dollar amount needs to be in that
Yes,
motion.
please. It wasn't there when you got your commitment because you hadn't finished the billing cycle.
So did you
Oh, that's what they got emailed to us? Okay.
$700.64.
I didn't get that out.
$170,700.64.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
So do I have a motion on that?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Been moved and seconded. Any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, roll call please.
Dana Cummings,
Yes.
Moran,
Yes.
Seely,
Yes.
Stevens,
Yes.
and Boone.
Yes. 6L, appointment of election clerks and ballot clerks for the fiscal year 2025. Judith Turner, Sharon Cannon, Judith Ampungan, Donna Thayer, Teresa Mealy, April Terrio, Don Peters, Lito O'Brien, Kamala DeShane, Judith Peters, Christine Cox, Julie Leppin, Cindy Mitchell, Vicki Moran, Peter Fruin, Jean Shield, and Jeannie Peacock.
I'll make that motion.
A second.
Any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, roll call please.
Dana Cummings,
Yes.
Moran,
Abstain.
Seely,
Yes.
Stevens,
Yes.
and Boone.
Yes. We're on 6M, council approval of reappointments and/or new members to boards and committees. I would suggest that we take all the reappointments and the new appointments together. Unless somebody has an objection, I'll read through them. Hearing no objection, reappointments to the Harbor Committee is of Chris Bartlett, Greg Biss, George Butch Harris, Lee Harris, Angus McPhail, Dean Pike, and Earl Small, all under the Harbor Committee. Reappointments to the Historic Review Board are of reappointments of Ed French, Catherine Lee, Jean Rise, Jean Shield, and a new appointment for Alden Chandler to the Historic Review Board. Reappointments to the Planning Board of Michael Morse, Bob O'Hara, Stephen Collins, Hugh French, Greg Gordon, Dan Ronga, and Dan Ronga as an associate member to the planning board. Reappointments to the recycling committee. Samra, she's going to kill me.
Samra.
Cassidy, but she's still going to kill me. Laura Whaling, Beth Clifford, Pat Christopher, Sally Caroni, Becca Hammond, Chip Hammond, Laura Krager, and Martha Floyd to the recycling committee. Reappointments to the zoning board of appeals of Chris Bartlett, Don Duttix, Karen Ferris, Leo Cole, Gregory Noyes, and Robert Peacock, and John Benkus to the zoning board of appeals. Last one is Shellfish Committee, reappointments of Lauren Small, Gary Small, Earl Small, Will Urquhart, and James Young to the Shellfish Committee. Do I have a motion on those appointments?
I move to accept the appointments to the committees.
I'll second that.
Been moved and seconded. Any further discussion on the appointments, the motion? Hearing none, roll call please.
Dana Cummings,
Yes.
Moran,
Yes.
Seeley,
Yes.
Stevens,
Yes.
and Bloom.
Yes. 6N, request for council approval to write off of personal property taxes for the amount of $230.56 to personal property account 300, reflective of the fiscal year 2023 tax for $113.86, and for the fiscal year 2024 tax, $116.70. Grand total of $230.56.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, roll call please.
Dana Cummings,
Yes.
Moran,
Yes.
Seeley,
Yes.
Stevens,
Yes.
and Bloom.
Yes. 6O, Airport Community Day, June 14th, 2025. Airport Committee request.
This was brought forward by the airport committee to me. They're looking to do a one-day event at the airport on that date, kind of a celebration of the terminal and of the airport in general. They're anticipating some fly-ins. Maybe I'll go to Virginia. There's going to be some Victoria rather. There will be a couple of food vendors they're hoping to have in. The main concern right now is they want to make sure that the council is all right with the use of the facility for that purpose on that day. And I'll be working with them as I would with any event.
So this is the airport committee, not the,
It's the airport committee on
Yeah,
behalf of the city,
not the
correct?
association.
Not the association,
Okay.
correct. We want to bring in specialty aircraft for families to be able to come and see them, perhaps the fire department bring a truck down, and also antique cars or some kind of car show at the same time. So that's what we're looking for, and having some food vendors. The airport advisory, the airport association does want to be a vendor and sell hot dogs and hamburgers for their association's benefit. So they would be one of the vendors.
this must be a Saturday, right?
It is.
It is a Saturday. It's Father's Day weekend, actually, the 14th of June.
Like,
Flag Day, yes.
There's only, I
I
think,
make a
11.
motion that we, what, do you need?
I'm bringing it forward because every festival we do downtown or whatnot, I believe we usually ask the council to approve. So I figured we should bring this forward as well. So, Victoria?
May I ask a question? There was a great deal of discussion last night at the airport committee meeting about alcohol on the premises. Is that an issue for the city?
You would need permits, and I don't know enough to give you any more than that. I'd have to go look that up for you.
The vendors themselves would have to obtain the permits, correct?
I believe we'd actually have to have permits for how, you have to actually have, drawings and whatnot, how you're going to do it. I'll leave it to the council. If council wants to consider it, we can.
They would have to reach out to the state. They
Yeah.
have a different
Right.
filing ahead of.
Right. The
I
vendors
don't know exactly
themselves.
whether it's 30 or 60 days, but they would have to start there first, and then obviously we'd have to approve the event first,
Mhm.
and then the license application, if I'm correct, would come to them for approval based on,
Do we allow alcohol with our food vendors during the 4th or Pirate Fest? Salmon Festival?
Yeah.
One of the proposed vendors is actually Horn Run, so they would come down, and so the question was, could they sell beer on site? I don't know that we have any other alcohol vendors, and I know they have to have a state, they have to petition the
Right.
state, but I figured that was something that
they
they
would already have.
and already know to take care of.
But where it's a different event, I believe there's a civic event application, I believe. I can look into that further.
But does the city have any issue with liability for the alcohol being sold on it?
I don't. We do it for the same festival.
Right.
I'll make a direct inquiry. I don't know.
The only other thing that was a big discussion last night was inviting, because of the grand opening of the terminal building, is the inviting of the significant politicians to come. And that probably has to go on their calendars now. They're probably 6 months out. So is that something that you would want to do, Brian, as the city manager? Or would you want the committee to do that?
I think the committee's already done that, because
Okay, I don't-
Sam agreed to do that last night.
Did Sam say he was going to do that last
He
night?
was, and I told him to reach out to Jeannie, because Jeannie knows Susan Collins's
Oh, that's right.
contacts,
Yes,
and
right, okay.
that contact knows Jared Golden's contacts, and that one knows Angus King's contacts, so
Mhm. Yeah.
he was gonna take care of that.
Okay.
Because everybody's trying to do their own parts. But I do agree that we need to get those invitations out now. And Chet brought up his phone and his calendar, and I thanked him a lot, because I thought Father's Day was the 19th, which it wasn't. And then last night, after I got home, and got winding down a little, 4th of July, 2 weeks later, so we may not get any, because they may already be committed to the 4th. So, I don't know, but we got to at least try. So,
Let me know if I can be of assistance.
Okay. I wanted to think.
Even if they can't come, they'll usually send somebody from their office.
but at least we can get that invite up there and get it going now before too much later. But, so, can I get a motion to accept that?
So are we approving the Airport Community Day?
Yeah, approving the airport community event at the airport on June 14th.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion on the motion? There was some rumor that Taylor Swift may attend, so that might help.
But I'm not going.
I'm sorry, say that again?
I said there was some rumor that Taylor Swift may attend.
Oh. Right.
Okay,
They're working on that one.
okay. Roll call, please.
Dana Cummings,
Think
Yes.
Jack can land there?
Lorraine,
Yes.
Seeley,
Yes.
Stevens,
Yes.
and Boone.
Yes, thank you. 6Q, request for use of carryover funds for Parks and Recreation and Public Works.
Yes, and with the council's permission, actually, we'll have something involving City Hall as well. So since we have new councilors, a carry forward is money in a particular department's budget that was unexpended at the end of the fiscal year and would otherwise have gone to undesignated funds. But a request was made to carry that money forward for future use in that particular department. For reasons involving the county budget that I've rehearsed here, I'm not entirely thrilled with the use of carry forwards in general. However, we have a number of them on the books. At the same time, we have a couple of expenditures that we're not budgeted for, and one that we discussed paying for from carry forward in the past. And I wanted to get permission to access existing carry forward funds. I believe, to be clear, you want to make sure when you approve money out of carryover that you have sufficient undesignated funds. We haven't had a completed audit since 2022 was the most recent one. However, we have done a trial balance, and if anything, we may be a little bit high on our undesignated fund balance. So I don't think there's any risk involved in the amounts we're talking about here.
So the carry forward would keep it in the same budget line.
It doesn't actually, no, it's actually very confusing when we start. I'll have to sit down when you guys want to look through the reports. I'll show it to you. It's maintained on a separate spreadsheet, essentially, from year to year. And Cammie, we'd actually have to talk about it. We actually haven't spent out of the carry forward since either of us have been here. But the intention is, it's essentially, it's off-budget money. In other words, it's money you're going to spend on a project that isn't coming from taxation, it isn't counted against your budget because you had it sitting aside.
You planned for it for one thing, but you didn't use it.
Right, that would be the
So now
most typical use. We were going to do Project X this year, we couldn't do Project X, we collected taxation for Project X, let's do it next year. It gets a little bit fuzzier when amounts just kind of keep getting carried forward because they weren't spent. And when we get to actually the Budget Committee, I intend to discuss a little bit about how I think it would be better in the long run to just stick to your budget, and if it's a significant project, yes, but in general, be clear about the use of undesignated funds in the future rather than kind of carrying them in this carry forward area that leads to some confusion. But they're there, and I've got, yes, I'm sorry.
Can we add in the program, like a carryover line?
Well, that's what I was going to suggest we do, and if we did that, it wouldn't necessarily be necessary to include it as a carry forward. In other words, let's say if a project didn't go forward in a given year, during the Budget Committee, I might want to say, that should just be put in the budget line again. But yes, you would then say on the revenue side, it wouldn't really be revenue, I'd probably call it a transfer. We'd say we're going to cover that out of undesignated funds. You could do it as a carryover if you really want to earmark it, but you're really just drawing out of what would have been in undesignated funds anyways. So, I'm sorry, I didn't really mean to go into
Okay, for all of that, what are you actually asking?
I have 3 specific requests. Let me go in order of them. The first one is to cover the expense of repairing Perkins Road. We lost an awful lot of dirt into the ocean back in the summer when hydrant flushing undermined the edge of the road, and we lost enough dirt that came fairly close to the edge of the road. So we spent, it's actually $49,500, but I'll round it up to 50 for this to put in a bunch of riprap. It's quite impressive if you go out there.
That's out of Cordy Village, right?
Yes, yeah.
That
was an unanticipated expense.
Did we file an insurance claim against that?
No, actually, I will say I spoke with that. So part of, I spoke with our insurance actually today about that. The dirt is not insured. If it had been a part of a natural disaster and there had been FEMA funds, that would be something we would have pursued. But in this case, I have approached the water district to ask for a partial payment of some of that, and they actually met earlier this week, and they're going to talk with their insurance. So I don't know what to expect there. However, so right now we have an infrastructure budget line that's at $92,000, out of which we're currently taking that 50. That leaves us $42,000. We would like in this fiscal year to get $66,000 of paving done. It's 600 feet of Adams Street, High Street from 190 to all the way to Key might be so that one stretch that we just patched this past year. That's really a mess. And the last 300 feet of Harris Point Road, which is it has fallen apart so much we really can't plow down there anymore. And our estimate on that is $66,000. That would put us quite a bit over budget on this. I had hoped I would have had a number for the Passamaquoddy Water District today to give you a specific number. Right now, if we were to do both those things, we'd be out of budget $24,000 on that line. The motion I would like to request on this one is an approval to spend up to $24,000 from the Public Work Infrastructure carryover, which currently has $73,000 in it, for these expenses. And should we get money from the Passamaquoddy Water District, we'll reduce it accordingly.
So do you need motions on each specific one?
I was going to ask, if we do them on each one, I can describe them all. Let me describe them all, and then I'll go back and tell you what I need in specific order. Parks and Rec, this has actually been discussed before, but I hadn't brought it forward. The Sunnyfield fence has been quoted at $23,000 to be replaced. There was $20,000 in the Parks and Rec budget this year. They've only spent $2,500, so they're at $17,500. They have $16,600 in a carry forward, however. And when we talked about this earlier in this year, we talked about the need to use carry forward funds to be able to, that we use that to pay for some of those. We did actually also at that time, if anyone from Parks and Rec is listening, talked about approving an additional $10,000 carry forward from last fiscal year. I'm going to suggest we not do that now, that when we budget Parks and Rec, we figure out what we actually want to spend, and then we can talk if we want to fund it out of undesignated. In this particular case, though, I'll be asking for $8,000. That will enable us to cover the fence expense, plus have a little bit left over, so if additional projects arise before the end, they still have something in their budget. And again, that's out of a existing carry forward of 16.6. Finally, I have one that's not on the list here because it came up today. The city obtained a grant to put a generator at City Hall. About this time last year, I believe it came in. Various reasons, we have not been able to execute on that grant. We initially had, the grant was for $20,000. The initial quote came in at 26.8, something like that. But that was a year ago, so now it's 28 and change, 28.4, something like that. So we need $8,400 worth, approximately that, to cover the full amount. We have $7,700 in this water heater insurance carryover that's been there for years. When you see my capital plan, you're going to see some suggestions about what at City Hall. It's going to be a lot more than $7,000. We have more than we need there. And I'm going to suggest that we budget for that separately, that we don't worry about this amount. I would like to empty out that $7,753 to match for the generator, and the remaining $500 or $600 would come out of undesignated funds. And the overall effect of all of this is we get to go through, we do these expenditures, we stay within budget, and we don't get yelled at by our auditors later on. And I'm bringing this to you really early. I could have been bringing this to you in June, right at the end of the year before we close the fiscal year. But this is my first time through this, and we know we've got a number of other issues where we'll be over budget, FMLA, other things. I wanted to address this sooner. So those are the three motions.
I make a motion that you use $24,000 for the, out of the public works budget for that work that you need done.
Up to 20, transfer up to $24,000 from the Public Works Infrastructure Reserve.
I second.
Any further discussion on that motion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Dana Cummings,
Yes.
Moran,
Yes.
Seeley,
Yes.
Stevens,
Yes.
and Boone.
Yes.
And I'm sorry, Ella, actually, I said reserve, that should have said infrastructure. I was reading the wrong line. Public Works Infrastructure carryover.
Okay.
The second one, yes, is to approve $8,000 from the park, to be drawn from the Parks and Recreation carry forward for this year's budget.
And that's money they already have in their account.
That's 16, yeah, that's already been approved as a carry forward in the past.
I make the motion to use the 8,000 for Parks and Rec. Whatever else needs to be said.
I'll second that.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion on second motion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Dana Cummings,
Yes.
Moran,
Yes.
Seeley,
Yes.
Stevens,
Yes.
and Boone.
Yes.
And finally, a motion to approve the use of the $7,753 from the water heater insurance forward for the City Hall generator.
My only concern about this, not on the agenda, we didn't do a adjustment to the agenda. Is that going to be a problem, Ella?
Probably should have adjusted for it, but
I mean, I'm certainly happy to bring this forward next month if that'll be better. I guess I would say the concern about having on the agenda is, if anyone feels unprepared, you know what, let's carry it forward next month.
okay.
I'm fine with that.
Still gives you time to get things done, right?
Yeah.
We're not going to lose
It
it.
just,
We're not going to lose that generator on the grant timeline, are we?
no, not yet, no.
Been a year. Yeah.
Let me put it this way. I intend to move forward on installing the generator. It's a necessity. We've had enough problems, and just in the time I've been on as city manager, that when we lose City Hall, it's kind of a mess. How we pay for it, if that we want to discuss that in greater detail, or just do it from here, that's fine. But unless council wants to direct me otherwise, I'm going to move forward, because I'm afraid the longer I wait on this quote, it's going to bump up on me again.
I don't mind making the motion. I just want to make sure you're all right.
I think there's no, correct me if I'm wrong here, Dennis, I don't believe there's any requirement in either in anything that we have written or in state statute that if you're going to take an action, something has to be listed on the agenda. The agenda is a courtesy both to you and to the public so that people know what business is going on. So I didn't raise it as a separate issue because I was just thinking I'm talking about carry forwards, and my apologies for that. So I don't think we're caught. Your council is free to take whatever action it wishes to. Is that correct, Dennis?
Yes, especially since you're dealing with funds that have effectively already been approved for use by the council, and you're just kind of adjusting what account those are coming from an accounting perspective.
Well, I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Been moved and seconded. A third motion on the 7753 monies to be used for the generator hookup at City Hall. Further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Dana Cummings?
Yes.
Moran?
Yes.
Seeley?
Yes.
Stevens?
Yes.
And Boone.
Yes. We are on 6R, PP Library Bandstand Memorandum of Understanding.
Yes, back in 2022, and this has been going on for quite some time, but back in 2022, the library and city manager at the time were working up a memorandum of understanding. The bandstand near the library is owned by the library and is on library land and is insured by the library. I actually got a copy of their liability insurance today, and has been for some time. Also during that time, there is some electric on the bandstand that's used primarily for holiday lights and if there's any performance at that place, and the city has paid for that. The city gets free use of the bandstand at Pirate Festival on July 4th, and this has been going on for years, but there's no memorandum of understanding, so every now and then the question will come up, why are we paying this bill or who has that? So this had been worked out some time ago. The library board brought it forth to me a couple months ago saying, can we actually move forward on this and sign this memorandum of understanding? And yeah, this doesn't change the way things have been. It's the way it's been for years.
This is just making it official.
It's making it official. Should there be a future question or dispute, we have it written down. And if for some reason we want to change how we do it, we have something we started from as well. So we can go back to that.
So we're moving to accept the memorandum of understanding for the bandstand?
Yes.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Been moved and seconded. Any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Dana Cummings?
Yes.
Moran?
Yes.
Seeley?
Yes.
Stevens?
Yes.
And Boone.
Yes. 6S, approval of a personnel policy anti-discrimination language.
Yes, the next three items are all related to the Human Rights Commission conciliation agreement the city entered into. Part of that was a requirement to add language to our personnel policy and to adopt a couple of additional policies concerning use of names and oaths and accessibility at meetings. So we'll start with the first one here. We were required to add, ensure we had non-discrimination, reasonable accommodation, harassment, and language concerning use of preferred names and pronouns in our personnel policy. Our personnel policy is being rewritten. I'm hoping to bring that to you next month or in March, depending on how things time out. But we needed to get this language approved. This particular language was actually, it's mostly, I'll call it boilerplate. It's mostly standard human resources policy information. Preferred names and pronouns stuff is a little more recent, but it's information that's come from our HR consultant who's working on our personnel policy. Of the three of these, I think this is the most straightforward. If you approve this, I'm asking you to approve. I'm going to ask you to approve this language. I'm going to ask you to approve the addition of this language to our personnel policy. We'll just kind of slap it at the end of the existing one and then incorporate it in the new one.
Do I have a motion on 6S, approval of personnel policy anti-discrimination language?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Been moved and seconded. Any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Dana Cummings,
Yes.
Moran,
Yes.
Seeley,
Yes.
Stevens,
Yes.
and Boone.
Yes. 6T, approval of proposed policy on city oaths.
One of the findings from the Human Rights Commission had to do with the requirement with an individual who was signing an oath and was required to do so with a legal name when that was not their commonly used name. Without going into too much of the detail, the biggest problem with what happened there had to affect there was no written policy to that effect, and that the Human Rights Commission felt the city was potentially inconsistent because in the past some people had signed with, say, nicknames. So I'm only asking, I've given you both policy and procedures because the procedures clear things out. Just serve as a term of art. Only you guys can vote in policies. Procedures are what I write about how to do them, but in this particular case, I thought it might be easier to see both. That's why I'm only asking for the formal approval of an oath policy. And the oath policy states that anyone who is elected or appointed to a position or a committee within the city, you have a right to use your chosen name. But you are going to be required to use your legal name for a formal oath of office if it's required for the employment or position. If it's an advisory committee appointment, it will not require the use of a legal name. You'll see in my procedures, I suggest that if you're going to appoint someone with a commonly recognized name, you appoint them with that commonly recognized name because that will make it clear that it's commonly recognized. But it's just that one paragraph. I should point out all of these again. These are things were being, the MHRC is required. This particular one I drafted in conjunction with the lawyer we're using the MHRC, and all of this has been approved by the MHRC as acceptable.
And probably good to have in our records. I make the motion to accept the oath policy and procedures.
I'll second that.
Been moved and seconded. Any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Dana Cummings,
Yes.
Moran,
Yes.
Seeley,
Yes.
Stevens,
Yes.
and Boone.
Yes. 6U, approval of accessibility policy for city council meetings.
So that's all this equipment we have in the room right now. I apologize for the length of this, but it has a lot of detail, mostly actually from the MHRC because we have 3 different defined classes of city council meeting, all of which have different amounts of lead time for being able to put together accommodations. So we have had a regular request for accessibility for people with hearing disabilities. And so the policy is that at all regularly scheduled city council meetings, you'll have what we see here: appropriate in-room amplification, real-time captioning in the room there, and if we provide video streams, which we are currently doing, that the captions would be available there. And I can describe how that works right now. But that's what's happening. People on Zoom can turn on captions and see the same captions that are playing behind you. The additional requirements are basically for special and emergency meetings. Amplification is provided when possible. The amplification is actually part of the more and more complicated things here, and for special and emergency meetings are often held in smaller venues. So that is why I put it there. Emergency meeting can theoretically be held, I believe you're supposed to attempt to notify the media, but that's not an absolute requirement. Captioning can only be provided with 48-hour notice. So I just have there, it's when venue and time allow, emergency meetings. Perfect. And there's a much longer set of procedures with this that I'm writing, so we have some idea what we're doing here. I did not put it
And this was
that way.
also approved by the lawyer.
This has been approved by the MHRC, yes. I'm sorry, yes, each one of these I typed up slightly differently, as you've noticed, but yes.
And also part of the stipulation of the,
Of the conciliation agreement, yes.
make a movement to accept the city council meeting accessibility policy.
I'll second that.
Been moved and seconded. Any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Dana Cummings,
Yes.
Moran,
Yes.
Seeley,
Yes.
Stevens,
Yes.
and Boone.
Yes. We are going on to item 7. Minutes of previous meetings. Minutes of previous meetings, 12/11/2024.
I'll make that motion to approve those minutes.
I'll second. Well, you can-
It's either meringue or Sealy. Take your pick.
Okay.
The been moved and seconded. Any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Dana Cummings,
Yes.
Moran,
Yes.
Seeley,
Yes.
Stevens,
Yes.
and Moon.
Yes. Item 8, council liaison updates and issues. Good.
I typically use this item. I'm going to break out a city manager's report item in the next agenda, because I think in the last year, I think we've all been happy if there wasn't a whole lot to talk about. But there's more going on right now, so unless another council has something, let me jump in with what I've got. So
I'll just throw mine out there
Yeah,
quickly. Today's senior citizen meeting. Donna is our new treasurer for the senior committee. Dale Devonshire was appointed president of the committee. Next Tuesday, I guess they have a very important meeting on the building. Some of us have got the report.
right.
Not good, but nonetheless, we got the report. I don't know whether we can share that with you. Did you get through? No.
We had an energy audit report done, and there's enough issues with the building to raise a question.
We should forward that on.
I'll send
Somehow,
that to you.
yeah, just so that they have it, not all at the senior meeting, but, the building's in much disrepair. Either way, so we're continuing looking for a different facility to operate that out of. It has been my mindset from the get-go not to spend a lot of money in that building because it's not feasible to do that. In the short term, we have to continue there. So there we are. But next week is a meeting on that. The airport, last night we had our meeting, the terminal building, the June 14th date. I think that's coming together. I certainly would like to see us promote that airport and get that going. I didn't have time last night to bring up the point that we need to get FedEx out there. Last time I went to Bangor, I think I passed 20 trucks down Route 9. Let's get a warehouse out here and start making some money out that place. But nonetheless, those are
It's on the
mine.
list.
Those are mine.
Okay.
I'll turn it over to you.
All right.
I got one question.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
So on the senior citizens building up here, I mean, I worked on that with my first job at a high school, rebuilding that place when it turned into a senior citizen
Last
center.
week?
Yeah, no, when I got out of high school. So how many days a week do they use that building?
I think they're using it at least 3. Seniors, not the seniors, senior citizens is normally on Wednesdays, they have meals. But there's, I think Tuesdays and Thursdays, they have exercise class, and then they have a whole bunch of other programs going on in there.
Why don't they kind of talk, I don't know for sure, but I heard bingo shut down at the youth center, and why don't someone get together and talk about using that youth center for the senior citizens? You know, maybe they can combine, you know,
Well,
That building,
we have talked about it. The only problem is, like here, the kitchen isn't certified to be a meals serving place. The same with the youth center. So you'd have to put a kitchen in out there.
but it might save you putting a kitchen in a well-insulated building. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. I
It'd be a
will.
nice, safe place for the senior citizens.
I
Plenty of
will.
parking.
Plenty
Yeah.
of parking, and it's
They just put 2 new ramps on, there was like 10
handicap
grand.
accessible. It would just be a safe place for them.
I'm not against it, but I will be very honest with you. Every time I've mentioned, I don't mind sharing this with you, I mentioned the old Dead River building a few years back, buying that before Ray's took it over. They do not want to be from downtown. They want to be downtown. I understand the concerns, but if they have no building, I guess they ought to look at going to some building.
Yeah, but I mean, this building's out there, I mean, I can't give, you know, I don't even know who's in charge of the youth center out there.
Judy Lyon, when she was in today, and said that they, I turned down a license to have the kitchen, so
Yeah, so.
I didn't know the bingo was done, but that is a very unique building right there.
It's
Like you say, it's already
It's
done.
perfect, it's insulated, it's safe, it's,
I'll certainly mention that next Tuesday. Maybe in the meantime, I can get some get some feedback from Judy on it before I do that and
Yeah,
see.
Youth Association?
yeah, it's just safe, it's a safe place
Thank
to
you,
go.
thank
Yeah.
you. I just know that every time I've mentioned it, it's always been the kitchen isn't suitable for it.
Yeah.
Well, you could take what you have for equipment there and take it.
Right, yeah, 'cause there's a lot of-
But I do want to add to that, I know they've talked about not doing bingo anymore, so I talked to Gloria about maybe the boosters taking over the bingo to raise money for the kids' classes, uniforms, stuff like that, but not weekly.
all right,
I said I'd commit to like once a month, but I wouldn't want to do it weekly like they did.
yeah. Well, I'll talk to Judy. Judy's, I get along pretty good with hers. I mean, I get along, whatever. Yeah, I'll do that before next Tuesday, because I didn't even give that any thought, Dave, and I appreciate that.
Yeah, I just,
That may be a very good solution,
yeah, I'm just thinking
but
about it.
that building is definitely in dire straits.
Hopefully, I mean, we're not going to keep putting Band-Aids on it, it's going to finally be torn down, or what?
So we'll use it for a museum.
Fine.
No, I don't know, Pauline, I would think that would be the right thing to do, but I'm not in that position.
I mean, downtown desperately needs parking, you know what I mean? And that could be parking, you know?
Yeah, you could get, yeah.
You could do something, but it definitely isn't a good place.
Yeah, yeah. No, but thank you for that input. I certainly will look into it. Sorry,
All
Brian.
right, here we go. We had the first snowfall of the season. Public Works did a great job. We are having trouble with the parking ban, people not observing the parking ban. We had to wake up some people late at night, get stuff moved. We are republishing the parking ban. I'm announcing it here before the crowds and on Zoom. I'm going to talk with the police department about maybe some creative ways of getting the message out on nights when it's not going to be plowed, to kind of remind people that if it were snowing, your car could be towed or a policeman could be knocking at your door at midnight, which none of us enjoy, I think. So do keep an.
Did you find out if they're local people or they're people staying at
It's a
Airbnbs?
mixture. But the Airbnb is a good question. Anybody who is renting a property or just allowing guests to be in there need to make sure the renting guests know, because they don't want to find out the next day that their car is in problems. So, along with plowing, you may recall, 11 months ago, the city agreed to accept part of Hayes Avenue to deal with a potential plowing problem, and Victoria generously gifted the portion of her lot that was in question, but no action was ever taken on that. So we hadn't actually plowed Hayes Avenue so far, because there was some question about whether there was an issue. I've since spoken with Dennis. We don't think there's a pressing legal concern, but it does make sense to get the deed rewritten so that, I believe it's your deed actually says you own the middle of Hayes Avenue. Yeah.
And as I understand it, your offer was to give that 10-foot strip.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
correct.
that little strip,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I'll draft that up and
Okay.
So we will finally move forward on that. It was the first meeting I attended, but I hadn't officially been hired or hadn't started serving something like that. I didn't know we had to do, so that would get done.
I have a question about
Yeah.
that. Is that road paved or it's dirt road?
It's old pave, it's all broken up now.
I think there was a concern about that with the plow.
So when I've spoken with Howie about the plowing, his concern was about the legal status. I mean, it's narrow, we have plenty of narrow roads, but that was why the legal status was a concern. I believe there was some historical back and forth there that, you didn't want to get stuck in a lawsuit or an insurance problem. So by rewriting the deed will be helpful. Yeah.
Do you have to, I don't know what the status is of the other half of that road.
That's excluded from the deed on the other side, right?
Yeah, interestingly, and going back probably at least 100 years, the description of Victoria's property says that it begins in the middle of that strip.
Right.
And just the opposite on the other property, it says that it goes to to the strip. So it's, and then there's, kind of 10 feet of no man's land there, which is what the recitation in that is, that's what the city uses as a public street. So.
Yeah, and we have two houses that use that road behind us. It's not as big an issue for us because that's not our access. And we've got 2 snow events coming this week already, and the last 2 events it was not plowed. So can it be plowed in the meantime while we're waiting for this paperwork to catch up?
Yeah.
We're comfortable with that now, yes.
Thank you so much. My neighbor thanks me.
And actually, let me make sure I deliver that message tomorrow, because I wasn't going to do it until we got through this today.
Thank you.
All right. One other MHRC thing, the staff all attended a training with the MHRC staff today about some issues related to the findings against us. It was suggested that I mention to the council it might be of some interest to you to view that as well. So if people are willing to do so, please contact me and I'll tell you how we can do that. I already mentioned that. I've already mentioned that. I just want to point out that after many meetings where I've stated that we're not in any position to really talk too seriously about properties and foreclosure agreements, I have begun work on that, and in so doing, we have an issue with our sales city property ordinance. It's not in compliance right now after the changes that were made in the last year, the Tyler versus Hennepin County changes, the ones that require us to put foreclosed properties out to realtors and whatnot. It also it removes some degrees of freedom from city council when it comes to repurchase agreements to former owners. And I don't know if there's history behind this, but the sale of city ordinance as currently written, if there is an owner present in the building, you are required to enter into a payment agreement. I think we're aware this is a kind of historical issue because these agreements have been a problem. But if they are not present, you are prohibited from doing so.
Which is a legal problem.
Yeah, which is, and it's messy, especially with the changes in Tyler and Hennepin County because of the requirement to go through realtors and other issues. All I wanted to ask tonight is I would like to be able at our next meeting I'd like to meet with Dennis and discuss what I think might be a more reasonable approach to the ordinance. The one thing the ordinance does add that's not in state statute is any sale of city property requires a public hearing. I think that's probably an interesting thing to add. But I would like to work on some sample language just to talk about to see if you guys would want to consider going to a public hearing to amend it. As it stands, it's uncompliant. And we need to at least fix that.
With both that U.S. Supreme Court case and there have also been some state statutory changes to try to make the whole state scheme compliant with that case.
The quick version of it is the parts that's strictly non-compliant is our ordinance suggests that you can put a foreclosed property out to sealed bid. That's illegal now. The part that gets complicated is a requirement. If you're prohibited from entering into a repurchase agreement with a former owner, even if the city doesn't want the property, even if the former owner is willing to pay the entire amount up front, we would have to go and try to sell through a realtor. And when you're selling a foreclosed property to a realtor, you're not selling a clear title because there's a 5-year period where the redemption period, whatever, where a previous owner could potentially come back and say, no, you can't take my property, you did this wrong. So it's almost impossible to get financing on that, which reduces the value of the property. I'm just going to, if anybody on council would like to dig into this with me, because ultimately the council would have to propose the ordinance and then decide if they want to go forward, please let me know. Otherwise, I'm going to talk with Dennis, but I just want to give you a heads up because it's a complicated issue and it does affect properties we're dealing with now. The condition of the Masonic crypt at the cemetery has come up again. It has come to my attention that there are some folks who believe it might have important historic interests. So I have asked some people to look into that. Hugh French and Alden Chandler have been in contact with me. However, I've made it clear that the building's been in bad shape for, I'm going to say, close to 40 years. And I I assume I'm probably going to come to you by the midsummer with either a proposal for removing it, or hopefully maybe if somebody wants to save it, they can, but we would be spending money to do so.
Give it to him.
Sorry?
Give it to him.
Well, yeah, they would like it. It's,
Yeah.
So. Port Authority wants me to know, just as I'll warn you about this, we're going to have a bunch of cruise ships this year. When a cruise ship comes in, this room gets used. Right now, there are no conflicts with our meeting, but I wanted to raise that because we had talked about that in the past, that should a cruise ship reschedule into our slot, we may have to move this meeting. But Chris just wanted me to say that out loud to people. Finally, next council meeting is budget. So all the stuff I just talked about, everything's on the back burner because I'm trying to put together the first proper budget presentation we've had in a while. Unless council wishes to direct me otherwise, I'm not planning to make a lot of dramatic changes or additions. I want this to be a more or less straightforward business as usual budget with a capital plan, however, associated with it, where there may be some larger ticket items. If councilors in particular have something they want me to make sure to consider or to rule out, let me know. I'll take it into consideration. Obviously, we'll thrash all this out in the budget process, but no point in, if there's something you'd like to see in February, there's no point in my finding out about it then. And that's my report.
Any other further council issues, updates, concerns?
I might be new, but I think you're doing a good job.
Thank you.
We're on item 9, public open forum. Anybody from the public like to speak?
Capture seems to be able to hear you from there, Victoria. So.
Okay. So thank you, Brian, for bringing up the plowing. That was on my list. Budget committee. Is there ever going to be a possibility of having budget committee meet all year round, rather than in this crunch time of February to May, April, possibly into June?
I can address that because during the last budget process, I put out that slogan, you know. Next year's budget begins the day this budget gets passed, and then life happened. And then now here we are in January, and I'm just getting going on it. I would like to invite the budget committee to have that conversation with me through this process about what will it look like. I think hopefully this year's process will not be quite so stressful, and we won't feel like we're in the fog, and so maybe we won't all feel like running away the day has passed. But yeah, I think it actually, I guess I would put it to the budget committee. I would at that point say, when we get to May, I say, what do you think we should do next as a group? What should we be talking about? And if you're planning to be in a budget committee, then maybe I'll just ask you to remind me that I said that.
We've discussed it a number of times. We would much rather go throughout the year so that we can see budget problems as they're coming up in the fiscal year that you're in. And then we can start addressing them a little bit sooner for the next fiscal year. So I think all the budget committee has asked for it a couple of times. So I think they're all on the same page. I don't want to speak for everybody, but that was my understanding.
I certainly have no problem with that we can, let's do it. Let's do it this year.
Sounds good to me. And lastly, with all these cruise ships and stuff coming in, do we have AEDs in the city buildings?
We have, as far as I know, we have one AED. It's in the police cruiser that never leaves town. But I do not believe we have them at all.
It's in a cruiser, I'm sorry?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, let me see. So I would call that being quote, close enough to City Hall to being in it.
Okay.
I'm assuming the fire department / ambulance has an AED or equivalent that they could use. I do not know if the school has them.
I believe
They do.
I think the school does.
Council Small usually checks to make sure those are up to date on their inspections and stuff like that.
The senior center just got one put in last year.
Oh, that's right.
So that's right, yeah.
Okay.
Okay. We had asked at the airport to have an AED way early last year, and it didn't materialize, so probably it's something we're going to want to put in our budget again. Yeah. I'll explain it to you.
Okay.
Probably something we will want to have that in the new terminal building. Yep. And again, I stand on the same information. We have some very mature pilots that are out there. So I really think it's imperative that the airport have one. But when you were talking about the cruise ships, and someone else had mentioned it to me also, we have all these folks coming in on these cruise ships. They're coming into this building, they're going to be up and down and all over. Do we have access to AEDs?
And I can talk with the port on that. I don't know what the port might have. I don't know what might actually be on the ship itself. I mean, when the big ones are in, of course, we're all hands here. Everyone's ready to go.
But that's a long way to go.
No, that's fair.
You know, when you're talking about bystander CPR, you're talking about having something basically at your fingertips.
We do have one, like I said, we have one in the cruiser. For the large ships, we actually do bring out the side-by-side. And maybe I'll just make sure the police move it to that for when they're in there.
Okay. Just a thought.
Maybe the port would buy one for here.
It would be good, especially to have it downstairs where you have quick access to
Yeah,
it.
certainly, certainly.
I do have a question, can I ask a question about the pilots though? Do they have to have like an annual exam or?
They do. They have to have medical exams, absolutely. They go through a flight surgeon, and there are different levels of exams depending on age and what they're doing as a pilot. Are they only flying themselves? Are they flying other people? And I know very little about it, but I do know that they do have to have medical clearance.
It's like truck drivers.
Yeah.
Similar.
I'm just curious.
Based on what
You
you're
said
driving
you-
and how
there-
far you're driving,
Right.
same on the flying, the commercial or your
There's no
private.
age requirement after a certain age?
Depends on the plane. There's an age requirement if you're going to be flying a 747 or something like that, but, you know.
Oh, I meant.
Not for private, yeah,
Private,
for private,
right.
that's different, yeah.
Any further comments from the public? Hearing none, I'll close item 9. I'll entertain a motion to go into executive session as soon as the room clears so that I can hear the motion. Thank you, everyone. Stay warm.
Safe travels.
Executive session.
7:36, I make the motion to go into executive session for personal matters, Title 1, MRSA 405-6A. For real estate property and economic development, Title 1, MRSA 405-6C. And for consultation with legal counsel, Title 1, MRSA 405-6E.
I'll second that.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Dana Cummings,
Yes.
Moran,
Yes.
Seeley,
Yes.
Stevens,
Yes.
and Boone.
Yes.
Thank you. Give me a second to turn all these things, gadgets on. Okay.
I need a motion to come out of executive session at 7:57, I'm going to assume.
I'll make that motion.
Second it.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Dana Cummings,
Yes.
Moran,
Yes.
Seeley,
Yes.
Stevens,
Yes.
and Boone.
Yes. Item 11, action from executive session if there is any. Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion.
Nobody wants to go home.
Just say that there was no, I make a motion
To adjourn.
to adjourn.
Yes.
I'll second it.
Been moved and seconded.
And what time? 7:58.
It's been a long time since I've done parliamentary
Roll call, please.
procedure.
Dana Cummings,
Yes.
Moran,
Yes.
Seeley,
Yes.
Stevens,
Yes.
and Boone.
Yes.